morning. A pleasure to have your company here on The Form, where the Central Districts take centre stage this weekend. We look forward to the Manawatu meeting there, including the Manawatu Challenge Stakes as one of the features. So to talk through all of the action, we've got the usual team back in. Good morning to you, Leith and Aidan in studio, and off the back of what was a great weekend last time, Leith, at Te Rapa, we're back there again too.
Look, it was great. Obviously, it was so good to see Sharp and Smart back win the Sky City Waikato Cup as well, and look, some very good rides on the day. I thought She's a Dealer's ride in the last by Sam McNabb was pretty good as well. Yeah,
heads to a ritual mile now. Looking forward to that. And wasn't it great to see Sharp and Smart, my favourite? Went down and gave him a little pat afterwards as well. But we look ahead to this weekend, and what a day at Trentham. 4 really good races, a couple of Group 2s, a couple of Group 3s, and yeah, it should be a bumper day at Trentham.
It really should, and of course that track played beautifully on Sunday. Bevan Sweeney, as I say, good morning to you, and really looking forward to the weekend's racing.
Absolutely, Pete, really looking forward to go back-to-back on the Champagne Tooth. I thought Saturday it played really nicely. The forecast just a little bit muddled on Friday going into the meeting. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but I am looking forward to both meetings in the Central Districts, Friday, Altaki, and Saturday at Trentham.
Absolutely. Right, well, let's have a look what is coming up on the show. And we will be starting with those Group 2s out of Trentham, the Manawatu Challenge Stakes and the Wakefield Challenge Stakes as well. Then we'll be having a look at our trial files and blackbookers as usual, taking a look at the open race out of Te Rapa, then the Group 3s from Trentham, including the Manawatu Cup, and as you know, our best bets to round out the show. So that's all to come. Let's crack into it. Head back to you, Bevan. Weather and track, as you said, there's been a little bit of rain around. There was quite a bit on Wednesday. What are we getting on Saturday?
Well, I think Jamie just left it without any irrigation post the meeting because the forecast for this week had a little bit of rain in it. They've got rain earlier in the week. I think there was around about 15, 16 mil, so it's in a soft 5 at the moment. These sort of skiffy showers forecasting through towards Friday afternoon, late and evening, where I think there's about 15 mils in the forecast. So I don't think we'll get anywhere in heavy track, but it might not get back into that good 4 position. I think soft 5 would be perfect if we can get to that level.
Okay, fingers crossed as we take a look at the market for race number 6 on the program, the Ramco Granite and Marble Manawatu Challenge Stakes. Maratiri Molly is back to defend her title at $3.50. Lux Libertas at $3.70. Your next best, Bellado Boy at $6, and Bell's Bow also sitting there at that single figure odds. So that's a look at the market. What about the speed team?
Look, I thought it was a little bit of an interesting sort of map. Look, Dr. Asker, he's having a little bit of a freshen up. I thought he could actually lead from barrier 3 A-Rod. Look, obviously there's a bit of speed from if in doubt, get out from the outside. Maratiri Molly, she's just going to box seat or sit outside leader.
Absolutely, and I had them exactly the same way. There's a decent chance that Dr. Askar could be there, and then you've got horses who are out the back who will probably just take their spots. Be just interesting to see, you know, especially what Cody Cole does with his. They're both drawn wide. They both could potentially be put into the race, but I think you've identified the first 3 in running.
Okay, let's take a look at Maratiri Molly. She's getting the same lead in as last year. Of course, Sween's coming out of this race where she finished 3rd. What did you make of her effort for 6th this season?
Look, it was fair to the eye. I'm just putting a line through it. She didn't get all favours in the run. She looked pretty unbalanced to me this way of going. So I've got a lot of confidence when she comes back to Trentham. Got squeezed up a fraction there. It wasn't a fantastic effort, but I'm convinced she's going well. Gets back to Trentham where she's got a fantastic record. So I think you'll see a better version than we saw here.
Yeah, look, she should have died on her run a little bit. She's a little bit disappointing, like you said, Bevan. She had a nice enough trip in the race, but it's not a natural race to be really the last 100 metres stopping like that. So she does have to bounce back. Obviously, she won the race last year, back to a track that she does like.
However, the form all around that race is rock solid. Kellyoff Farasha, obviously we've seen Provence go on in Group 1. Jaffe was terrific in the Calais Zuzu, reeling off all the quickest closing sectionals, then Arabian Songbird and Bourbon Empress. So, you know, they're horses who would be right in this market. I don't think she has to improve too much. She gets down closer to home. She's got Matt Dixon's preparation. He knows her back to front. And she obviously improved out of this race last year to be winning last year. So no knock on it for mine.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to like about her, but what about this mare? Let's have a look at Lux Libertas. She resumes on Saturday, and this is the last time we saw her when finishing 2nd to Cork here on the heavy 10, and she didn't get all favours in the race last year.
No, look, she was caught wide last year. She's ended up running last. The The key to her is she needs a bit of water. Obviously, it does look like there's a bit of rain Friday, maybe a little bit Saturday, so this, it's not going to be a good sort of full track. Look, she comes in pretty fresh into this race as well, and she does run well like that.
Yeah, like you say, there's rain in the forecast for Friday, and it looks as though it's significant enough, which maybe brings her into it. On what she did last year, she's got to improve a fair bit to be beating Manawatu Molly, but she comes into this fresh with the weeks of preparation. There's enough upside there to say, yeah, it can be a factor.
Your thoughts, Saints?
On a class, right in the mix if the rain does come. On a good 4, I would say no, but the Sullivan Scott barn flying. Be interesting to see what Bruno does from that gate. He does like to send a horse, but this isn't one I think they'll be sending on Saturday. They'll try and get a position forward to midfield. The gate's good to do that, but look, if there's enough rain, absolutely, there's a fair bit of class from this horse.
Okay, what about this runner? He's in the market in single figures. Bell's Bow, we take you back to him doing his best work late. He had the best closing 8, 6 and 4 here, but he goes up significantly in weight with the conditions.
He didn't have all favours from well back in the field as well. On a race that was really on speed, I thought his run was super. Probably a question mark at the weight for age, but look, he's definitely a top 3 chance.
Yeah, like you say, he does go up 5 kilograms on that, but if in doubt, goes up 4.5 kilograms. Field and Gold goes up 4.5 kilograms as well. So he's not that badly off against the horses he raced in here. Yeah, the form's okay around him.
Yeah, he was good late.
Yeah,
he was very good late.
I think he's definitely a top 3 chance.
Definitely the upsetter. Definitely the upsetter in the race, this horse. I thought it was a superb performance. Grills is aboard on Saturday. Look, it'll handle a bit of cut out of the track. I thought it's fresh up people. It was fantastic sense of timing. Just the Scunner comes out of that race, and the Scunner, I think, late on for the Thorndon Mile post that performance as well. So the form around that is pretty strong. With the right run, Craig Grills, Robbie Patterson, probably an each-way price.
Okay, and then Cody Cole's got a couple of chances. Let's have a look at Old Bill Bone. He resumed really nicely here when third in behind Moxie, but this is his biggest test to date.
Yeah, look, obviously he's only rated a 75. Look, he's got Vinny on. He's probably going to get back again. This is natural sort of way of racing. He was good here. He was super fresh up. The big roomy track at Trentham's going to suit him as well.
I thought this was a super run. You know, he was my black booker out for the meeting out of this run. He's yet to miss a placing in 7 starts, so he is a real up and comer. This is really throwing him into the deep end as a into a weight for age race. But that performance, he is a smoky. The interesting thing, and we'll hear it from Cody shortly, is that I think he's favouring the stablemate.
Oh, really? Okay. What are your thoughts on the runner, Swains?
I think he's really raw, and like he's impressed me on a couple of occasions when, especially the win at Ellerslie, beating home Midnight Skin. I didn't think the horse could win, and then he just kept on finding the line. He's got a bit of a tough nature on him. Vinnie Colgan's a plus. Skates maybe a little bit niggly, but he will get back somewhere back of midfield. So whether he's got the turn of foot to get across him, I'm not 100% sure, but is a very tough horse and will be winning more races.
Okay, well, let's find out from Cody Cole his thoughts around him and, of course, Latrell.
Look really well. Old Bill Bone's pretty laid back. He doesn't really exert himself on the training track, but when you put him under pressure, he really responds. And Latrell's super. The gap between runs suits her well, and her work's been really good.
Yeah, she's going really well. The team's pleased with her. She's nice and sound in her action. She looks well. Look, she raced on deep into the winter last season, so hence why it's sort of taken a while for her to get back. But no, we're very pleased with her.
Okay, so Lance is pleased with Lux Libertaz. Is she in your selections, Leith? Who have you got on top?
I've got her on top, but only because I think it's going to be sort of that soft 5, soft 6. I think Bruno on, he'll be a little bit positive out of the gate. Look, I just thought she was probably a good player in the race.
I'm with Manawatu Molly. We know the quality of this horse, and it looks like the true weight for age horse in the field is like rated 103. So on that score, only Bilardo Boyd's up there against it. So she brings her best form. I thought this was race over. I thought she just had something on them. I just want to give a little shout out to Eriko. I know he didn't fire first up, but his Trentham record's outstanding, and he's back there again. So I didn't think he was the worst chance in the race.
I'm with you, Aidan. I think Manawatu Molly will be winning on Saturday. I think they'll be reasonably positive from a decent sort of gate. She's got all the stats at Trentham to be winning this race, and we know what she did last preparation. She really impressed me at Te Ahiraneka, the other way of going, beating a useful field. I do want to have a shout out as well, A-Rod, heard a whisper that Dr. Asgard is a tough horse, and he may have been toughing out a foot issue that they hadn't seen. So that might have cleared up, so you might see the real Dr. Asgard on Saturday.
Okay, well, we heard it here first in case we do. And also we have to find out who's gracing the race form cover. And I can tell you it is last year's winner as well, Maratiri Molly here. So let's hope she can get the job done if you want to pick up your cover there and have all the racing from the weekend in the race form. As we move from there to the other Group 2 on the programme, the Windsor Park Stud Wakefield Challenge Stakes here, race number 3 on the programme, sorry, the Group 2, where Lara Antipova is the favourite at 220, backed into 240. What do you think of this market, Swenson, based on what we've seen from these 2-year-olds today?
Can I say no idea? I think it's a no idea issue. Lara Antipova, I'm a Bell, Lassified, Silhouette, Vave was good. Look, to the eye, Lara Antipova was very good, but hasn't been down the chute. Silhouette has. Look, I found it pretty difficult. I'm a Bell's been down the chute at Riccarton, so I think that's a big advantage. But look, it's all on reputation, this race. And look, there might be a very smart horse coming out of the race.
Look, the field's stacked up really well. I think it's a stronger addition than it was last year. Being a 2-year-old race, I found it really sort of tricky to map, especially at Wellington. They've got the overhead gates here and some of them are slow away. Look, Lara Antipova, I thought they'll go forward. Grillsy's on, probably maps to either sit outside lead or in the trail.
Yeah, I thought there was more speed, obviously, than the Manawatu Challenge Stakes, and it does make it a little bit difficult. I thought the probably... You know,
I'm a Bell with Bruno on, got the nice box,
exactly it.
barrier 2, he'll be positive.
I think it'll be down to rider intent.
Right, let's have a look at Lara Antipova. There was a lot of money on her debut run here at Te Araha, and she was very professional this day, Bevan, when winning.
Yeah, she was, and it's good to the eye, but you never know what's in behind, do you? And we're going to say this on a couple of occasions, and we're going to talk about Silhouette shortly, but she really did rip away. Striking horse, very, very striking filly by Russian Revolution with a big white blaze. It was a confident ride, she was pricking her ears. It'll be a different game on Saturday, a little bit more pressure, different sort of setup, other way of going and down a chute. But look, she really did rip away late. Time was okay on the day, so yeah, she's obviously got ability.
Yeah, obviously the track was playing really fast, so she's come home in the last 600 metres in 33, but it's just that typical Te Akau polish. They just run straight, they do everything right, they jump. You know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. It's the professionalism, it's just the manner of the win. There's just something about just the performance, and it says that, you know, she'll go to Trentham and handle it fine because she was so professional around Te Aroha. She was very good, so... for that reason, I've made her the yardstick horse in the race.
Yeah, she's cool named too by, obviously, Russian Revolution. So the novel Dr. Zhivago actually has Lara Antipova as the main character in that. So
how's the book go? You know,
I don't know. I should watch the movie. There's a movie too where she was played by Julie Christie. So
Bevan would have written the
book.
He would have seen the book.
Yeah, let's go to Silhouette now. And as you said, Sweens has got that win down the chute, and that's really key too because 2-year-olds can get a bit lost.
Oh, I just thought Luke Radich had returned to the kennel. Silhouette. Look, at least this horse has been down the chute, and you just don't know what's under the bonnet here because Silhouette did this on its ear, really. There was hardly anything asked of the horse. Te Akau sent one down with a reputation, couldn't really keep up. So, again, there's a lot of upside here. She ran pretty quick time. She went gun barrel straight. She's been given a quick freshen up. She only changed lead leg the last 100 metres. I think it's the match of Lara Antipova in performance, but I'm just not sure. There's ability there again.
Yeah, she was very professional. The filly out of by Armoury. Fashion Sense was not a bad racehorse either. So, look, she was professional. I know she's had a jump out at Matamata, and apparently she was flying. George Rock rode her that day. And look, I do sort of think it's probably one of those 2 favourites for sure.
Yeah, it was very good. And obviously you're getting a little bit of a line on through Zaharias, who's gone down to Riccarton, and then we've seen Ima Bell beat that horse as well. So we are getting a line through both those horses that way. But as Bevan said, has been there and done that as well. And Sweens, I think it's fair to say Luke would have read the book, wouldn't he?
He would have read the book, analysed it, put up quotes, and told them they got half of it wrong, I'd have mentioned.
Yeah, I'm not that dedicated. Right, let's have a look at the Southern Filly by I Am Invincible, and it is, of course, I Am Bell for Andrew Carson, and she was very good this day during Cup Week.
She was. Look, she had 2 trials going into this under her belt. Both trials she was a little bit green. She was a lot better here. She had the side winkers on. I think the best thing about her, Bruno's on again. He knows her. He's one of those real sort of barrier riders. He gets them on speed and gets them on the right leg as well.
Yeah, she was really willing. Wanted to get past, then wanted to win. So I like what we saw from this horse, and seems to be progressing nicely. Had trialled really well leading into, and as we said, beat home Zahari, so it had the benefit of having that run previously, and obviously would have taken improvement out of the run in behind Silhouette. So upside there, and Silhouette, I think there's a few of our trackside colleagues involved in that. Tommy Thompson's been doing a little bit of more syndicating, taking a bit more out of Cody Cole's share, and so there's a few of our guys in there.
They didn't offer you a share.
They did.
Oh, I
and
heard
I was
you
on the ballots, and I missed out. Don't worry, I've had a little go about that too.
That's just because you're getting a little bit of backhander on that. What's that company that we're working for now?
Sponsors of our show, Bevan. The sponsors of our show, My Racehorse, they do a fantastic job. And now we're going to have to beat them in the Clark Million.
Would there be any Christmas crackers going, My Racehorse shoes or not?
Incandescent's the one. We've just got to put our faith in that horse now.
All right.
Hey, just on I Am Bell, that was a pressure race. It's faced the pressure, hard pressure race, and it's got the job done. So I'm definitely not underrating that performance. It's been down the ricket and shoot. Trentham won't worry it. Might be the toughest in the race to beat.
Okay, well, what about Lassified, though? Let's have a look at this run from the filly. She's by Stay Inside, who's the leading sire of 2-year-olds in Australia too. And again, very professional here.
Yeah, look, obviously Craig Grills rode this day. Obviously, he's probably made the decision to ride Tiake horse. Look, she's travelled, she's done things right. It was a good, strong win, I thought. Natural improvement out of the race, you'd think as well.
Runner-up was okay too.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot between them on the line. I think it's come down to a long neck, but between them, so both of them will take improvement out of that. And that's the thing about this race. Just about every horse has had one start, and so you're going to just see, some horses make real progress. Some of them will just take some great education out of this and springboard off it. So it does make it a very good running of this race and a tough betting race for mine too.
Yeah, it really does. Let's go hear from Cody Cole now and see what he thinks about his horse's chance.
We gave her a couple of weeks out after a win there, and brought her back with this race in mind. She had a jump out last Monday at Rapa. She was super there, performed well. She's had a look down the chute, which is a big assist going down, back down to Trentham. So work's been really good. I think she's improved from what she did her first up run. So she's going to need to. I think it's a strong enough field, but yeah, once again deserves to be there.
She's always been a really natural filly, and she showed that on debut. She seems to do it pretty effortlessly, and like I say, has to take the step up now and deal with the travel and things like that. But confident she can do that and hopefully can run well.
Okay, so some good comments there from Connections. We do need to circle one on top though, Leith. Who have you found?
Yeah, I'm off the Tiake runner. Look, Lara Antipova.
Yes.
Look, I think, look...
Next week's show, we're going to book review from Lisa. Book review from Lisa.
Look, the Tiake team, look, it's a group race. They'll have it ready. She's going to go down there and travel. I think she'll be winning on Sunday.
Yeah, if you can get that done before Christmas Eve when you're on next at book review, we'll look forward to it. I was with Leith, I was with Lara Antipova as well, and so I'm not too sure I've got time to read the book. Maybe you're going to go something else so you don't have to.
Leith just sounded surprised that Lara Antipova was in the race. I'll go with Silhouette. I think it's had one chance down the chute and won really nicely. I think there's a fair bit of ability there, but it's a bit of a guessing game. But I'm pretty sure there's a really nice horse coming out of the race.
Yeah, certainly agree. So the guys with the two favourites as we take you to a break off the other side will be kicking in with our blackbookers. You can watch the movie. Welcome back in. and it's time for our black bookers this week. Leith, as usual, you're always up first. Who'd you find?
She's all that, Pip. Last Saturday at Rapa, running in a rating 75, it was an extremely strong race. Look, it was mounting a very big run on the inside there in the green Little Avondale colours and just got stopped in its tracks. Look, it's due to go to Taranaki on the 31st of December in a rating 75, and going off this race here, she will be winning off that run.
Yeah, really nice performance for sure. I've got one that's actually backing up this week. Go back to last week's Te Rapa run, and the horse who's making up very good ground out wide is Poetic Justice. This was, obviously it's a race that, we saw a few races that did favour those on speed last week. This was one of those, and for Poetic Justice, who has zipped home with all the quickest closing sectionals, thought the run was outstanding. On the quick backup I like as well, so I thought really hard to beat this weekend, but I thought from that you wanted to be on.
I'm taking it to Taranaki and a horse called Wigmore for Kelly Myers. What you don't see is the horse went from being in a great spot to being held up on about 3 or 4 occasions before it got clear. Way too late. Its debut effort was very, very good. Might be all sort of get up over a staying trip, but if you can do that at Te Taranaki with the trip ahead, it'll be winning at short notice.
And I thought Ride from the Ashes was really eye-catching here, out wide for Ben and Ryan Foote. This was the fresh-up performance, had to carry 60 kilos with Craig Grills aboard. I just think we'll take real benefit out of the run. As I mentioned, Wayne was my weight watcher there too. He took on the Derby last year, so I think when he gets over
he ran
further,
home the fastest 600 metres as well in the race of 60 kilos, so lot to like about him.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good run too.
Yeah, I think he'll be winning next up as well. Based on that performance, as we take a look at a summary, you can see them all down the bottom. Make sure you note them down and follow them in the coming weeks. Poetic Justice, of course, quickly too for Aidan. Right from there, we are going to concentrate in on Te Rapa, and we're back there again off last weekend where it did play to the favourites, the front runners, I'd say. Leith, what are we expecting this weekend?
Look, this race here, it's a handy enough field. I'd say this week, the rail's out 3 metres. The track's going to play pretty fair, I think. Look, the fields are a little bit small. Some of the jockeys in Wellington, some are at Te Rapa. So, look, I thought the fields actually stacked up quite nicely.
Yeah, I think last week, we saw a couple of the big fields, the J-Swap Sprint and the Waikato Cup, they were run really fairly, maybe even favoured the swoopers. The rest of the day, the smaller races, they were...
It did dry out a little bit last week.
It was drying, and we went from a soft 5 at the beginning to a good 3, but... it's going to be all the better for that outing too. It was the first one since we had the mishap at Te Rapa.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rail just out 3 metres from Saturday. As we take a look at the 5th on the program here, it is the open handicap. Moss Invader, $1.95, clear-cut favourite from Keegan at $5, and then Giacomo at $7. We'll take you back to have a look at Moss Invader finishing 4th here at Ellerslie, and you look with them finishing in line with first 5. Not bad form, Leith.
Not bad form, exactly, Pip. He didn't have all favourites in the straight there. He got sort of held up a little bit. They had to ride him a little bit handier, and I think it was just out of his comfort zone. So, look, I think he's drawn 6 this week, a mile. Look, he doesn't have to improve too much to be winning on Saturday.
Yeah, that reference for first 5 has come out and won the J-Swap Sprint in a really strong race. Obviously, we noted at the time first 5's performance was outstanding, considering that those who were on speed definitely had an advantage. And Moss Invader was one of those, to be fair. And the other thing about Moss Invader, I really like the form coming in like 3rd up, and it should be right there. Just a 1 win from 13 starts, so that strike rate's probably not there. That would be the one knock if there was going to be one, but I thought was probably the yardstick on form, but just, with that proviso that maybe you might find something else that could be a decent challenger.
Sweens, would you take the $1.95?
He's gone home, isn't he?
I actually think the only thing that can stop Moss Invader at $1.95 is if Aidan goes with it as his best bet, to be honest with you. He's stopped a few at the actual EV. He'll still be sitting in a stable worrying about that, but I think best horse in race. Simple as that.
OK, well, we have to look at this horse, though, Keegan, who's coming into it off the back of 2-4. And to be fair, actually got held up a little bit when trying to go for a run, and Teese has come out of this race and won again since.
I know this is a horse that you like, A-Rod, so Moss Invader might be safe this week. But, look, he was held up here at a vital time. Look, he gets into the race with 55.5 kilos as well. He didn't have a lot of luck in this race, and obviously Tessie came out and brained them on Sunday at Wellington.
I think this horse is going really nicely, and the quality's there. We've got a nice push from Ryan Foote at the track on Wednesday for his chances as well. So. I got the feeling the boys are starting to pick on me a little bit. These horses I am stopping them. There is no question. Let's hope that Keegan can get the job done, because that's the horse that I've got on top in this race, Bevan.
Oh, listen, Cowboys don't cry. You know that. You know that. Keegan was going nicely. I mean, the form will stack up out of that. I think everyone in the country is waiting for the odds to come out for the horse's performance, of course. What are we talking about? We're talking about the horse that won at Trentham on Saturday. Tees, of course. Yeah, we're all waiting for that price. Mind blank time. Doddles in this race. I called it something different last time we had it on the show. But yeah, Keegan's going really, really nicely. I think can be right in the max, but I'm pretty convinced that Moss Invader is going really well enough to be winning the race.
And you, Leith, are you with Moss
Yeah,
Invader?
I'm off Moss Invader, Pip. He's still got the earmarking, the ritual mile, so he's got 58 kilos, but back to a mile, he should be winning on Saturday.
Okay, from there we're going to take you to the trial files, so make sure you got your pen out ready to note these ones down. Leith, who did you like at the trials?
Look, I went to Avondale, Pip. Opie Bossum, he gave me a call on the way home and he said, look, this horse here is the real deal, cool in command. Sam Bergerson and Mark Walker trained runner here in the Tiako colours. He just before then we saw Opie swap a stick over to his left hand and gave him a little squeeze. The horse is down to run next Saturday at Tiara on the 3rd of January in the 1,000-metre maiden race at Tiara, and he will be winning.
Okay, nice. Good to get a bit of Opie mail as well. I've gone to the same trial meeting and went later in the day for Lydiard Park, a horse who's trialled and won in the past. Has had the benefit of one outing last preparation. I think that education has served it well. I've put this horse aside, and this was a dominant performance by one who's got a little bit of upside. So happy to be on Lydiard Park when we see this horse step out race day next time.
I'm going to take a bit of a punt on a trial at Foxton and Shamelia Kirk for Robbie Patterson in the 2-year-old heat. Look, there's a fair bit of ability out wide, one of those being Single Terry for Andrew Campbell. But this horse knew absolutely nothing at the trials and changed lead legs when just given a little bit of a... and went strongly to the line. I think there's a fair bit of upside there.
Okay, so that's what the guys are liking this week as your trial files, and here is a summary of all three of them. Note them down, and as you heard from Leith, we'll be seeing Cool in Command very shortly. From our trial files, we are going to be taking a break on the form. Don't go far though, because we are looking forward to those Group 3s out of Trentham off the other side, where the guys try to find you the winner. You're watching the form, and we're about to concentrate in on the Group 3s out of Trentham, including the Manawatu Cup, which is the first race we want to take a look at. And you can see Atmospheric as the open favourite at $4.40. There's already some movement too around Nereus, $6.50 into $5.50, and then What You Wish For at that $6 quote, with Trav, who is back from his Melbourne Cup Carnival, the only other runner at single figures at $7. Team, market-wise, you pretty happy with how it's shaping up?
I thought there was a little bit of value. I thought What You Wish For comes into the race 4th up. I thought it was actually a really strong race.
Yeah, it's a decent running of this year's Cup, especially at top level. There's some really nice horses who, if they brought their A game, would be really competitive.
Okay, well, let's take you back to the first horse we want to highlight, and that is Nereus at Ellerslie here, over the mile and behind Alvencedor and Mary Shani. The best closing sectionals in this race. He looks a real improver.
He does. Obviously, Vinny gets to keep the ride as well. He's got 58 kilos. He loves the track down there. He's won 3 times from 6 starts, 2 placings. A little bit of timing about him, so you'd think the step up to 2,300 metres, and there's been a bit of stable money for him as well.
Yeah, this is a super run. He's potentially even a little bit unlucky. He's hit the line strongly after just getting held up a little bit in the straight. 3rd up from this, he's trained on beautifully. Spoke to Sean Ritchie on Wednesday morning, and they're pretty confident, to be fair. And he's a quality horse, a step up in distance. It is quite a sharp one from 16 to 2,300 metres, but he's looking for ground. They thought he was a Caulfield Cup horse earlier on, so 2,300 metres. It's just that is that step too great. But 58 kilograms in a race like this, I don't think it's not the end of him.
Oh, the biggest problem for me is when do you catch this horse? I suppose if you are going to catch Nereus, it will be at Trentham. So I think there's a few positives around the horse. As Leith mentioned, sense of timing. It is a big step up, but you trust the trainers, they're very experienced. He'll just settle back. There'll be enough tempo in this particular race to sort of see Nereus getting home. But I could just never catch the horse. Sometimes I need a win for fun and it's slightly disappointing, but Trentham's probably the big factor. The big price in this race is Freddie Time. She had impressed me first time over ground at OTEC the other day and up at a big price. I think very, very progressive.
Okay, giving us some value. Speaking about not being able to catch horses, well, can you catch Atmospheric this time? Sweens, I know one of your favourites, and he just blew it at the gates again this time.
Oh, I'm going to give myself an uppercut at the end of the show, so let's talk about his Atmospheric now. Like, his performance is enormous, let's be fair. It was an enormous performance to get as close as he did. I know Cardi's been working very hard behind the scenes to make sure this horse jumps away on Saturday. If he does, he's right in the mix. If he doesn't, then we'll probably get this sort of result again. Yeah,
he caught a few punters this day, this horse, I know that. But look, he's only a 2-win horse. He gets in the race with 53 kilos. I think the best thing about this race this week, being a big field and there's so much speed in the race, if he does miss the kick like he did last start, it won't be all over because he does look like there's good natural tempo with a good day in the race.
The performances have been very good. It's just he's getting that start wrong and it's costing him so much. But yeah, obviously Mollify, who's won that race, is a nice horse going on and performed really well last time again too. So yeah, no knock on him. It's just, you know, there's a risk. There's a risk involved when you back Atmospheric because he could miss it and cost himself again.
You really could. And then we've got What You Wish For as well. Let's take a look at this effort at the Counties Trials. And, of course, prior to this, he'd come out of the Counties Cup.
Yeah, I think this is an OK trial. Obviously, he was here just for a hit-out. The best race was before this at the Counties Cup, obviously. When he was third up, he was sixth on a race that was turned into a sprint home. I thought his run was super. I nearly had him on top this week, 54.5, Bruno on. There's a fair bit to like about him.
Yeah, and I thought this was a nice tick-over trial too. Yeah. Just to have him, just where they want him fitness-wise. I agree, his run in the Counties Cup was absolutely a pass mark. And ready for this, he's a contender.
I've just tended to sort of ignore the Counties Cup, really, apart from the fact that any horse that was in it can come out and win its next start. So happy enough to go with what the boys have said around this horse. I think the trial was outstanding. Going forward, I think there's a decent sort of Cups race in What You Wish For. Clearly going well enough to be very competitive on Saturday.
OK, and then, Bevan, what about the big boy for Raymond Connors? Trav, back from his Melbourne Cup campaign. Where's he at?
It's hard to know, really. We know he's a great staying horse. I don't think he got all favours in his time over in Melbourne. He got well out of his ground. He was still hitting the line at the end of his races, but he just couldn't quicken naturally with those horses that got to the corner and were often gone. But I thought he went nice enough races. I don't think he had all favours. Look, it wouldn't surprise me. He's probably the best stayer in the race overall, performed-wise, clearly. 2,300 metres won't hurt him. Look, it'd be no surprise if he comes out and wins the race.
Yeah, what do you guys reckon?
Yeah, look, he's an interesting runner. I'm just willing to just watch him go around a little bit this week. Obviously, things didn't go to plan in Melbourne.
Yeah.
The horse wasn't quite 100%, so I wouldn't be surprised if he runs a really nice race, but I can't quite have him on my win ticket this week.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. And he's a horse I want to be watching here, but not backing.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, let's hear from Cody Cole around Atmospheric.
Looking for the best Tim turns up. I mean, he's been beaten a neck in a Group 3 before as a 3-year-old, so he's definitely up to it. He just needs to make it a bit easier on himself.
Yeah, we've kept the work up to him. He's nice and fit and well. He's bouncing around the place here, so hopefully we can get a barrier job posse up a bit closer than we did in the Counties Cup, and you know, hopefully he should be in it.
He works himself pretty hard when he goes out on that track, and he does a lot of swimming, so yeah, he'll have a run up tomorrow, but his fitness should be good now.
He's just going great. You know, he's going to be extremely hard to beat. When you get those horses who are like him in form, who are good, honest horses, they take some holding out.
There you go. So very hard to beat, the words from Sean Ritchie. That's got to give you confidence. Are you with Nereus or somewhere else?
I don't know why I'm doing it to myself, but Atmospheric, he should... Look, Wellington's going to really suit this horse. If he jumps out with the speed in the race, I'm going to give him one more chance, and it's this week.
Yep, no knock on the ability, it's there, and if we can unlock that...
He's hard to catch though, isn't he?
If we can unlock that starting gate problem, then he's definitely a chance. I'm with Nereus. I think he's the class horse. You look at the Trentham record, 6 starts there, 3 wins, 2 minor placings, and you get the confidence out of Sean Ritchie. It's a no-brainer for mine. I'm with Nereus.
Oh, you mentioned risk. I suppose there's a risk waking up in the morning, so I'll be going with Atmospheric. Again, no one has cost, no one's been costing more than me with the Atmospheric and best bets, etc., etc. But look, if he jumps away, I think he's got all the ability to win this particular race. He's very, very talented. The first part of his preparation was sort of upset with wet tracks, etc. I think rounding into some form, and if he can jump away, he can win.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens in this race as we move now to the Group 3 Eulogy, of course, for the fillies here. And the Dirty D heads the betting at $3.30 from War Princess at $3.40 and Origin of Love at $3.40. And based on what these 3 fillies have done, Sweens, they have got this market right by the looks.
Might disagree, actually, Pip. I think War Princess should be $2.20. The Dirty D was beaten last start. Things didn't go 100% right for it, but I thought War Princess should be shorter, and maybe even Origin of Love shorter, and Dirty D, look, it's progressive, there's no doubt about that, but I wasn't convinced she'd have come up 5.
OK, well, there you go. What about the speed team?
Yeah, look, I thought it was a hard race to sort of map. Abacus led last start, and I was sort of by default. The blinkers come off this week. Thought War Princess from Barrier 4 is going to get the beautiful run. I don't think they'll lead at Wellington on her, but she looks like she's going to get a nice run in the Dirty D. Thought she run was good last time. She just got lost on the outer there.
Yeah, and maybe a touch unlucky as well. I agree with you that Kawa goes forward, and then it'll just be around intent. Do they want to hold up with Abacus? Do they want the trail? Yeah, War Princess should get pretty close to a 1-1. I thought our Origin of Love probably best of all gets the run of the race for mine.
OK, let's take a look at the Dirty D's. Had the 2 starts for a win, and this second, and to be fair, did get pushed wide, turning in for home by Laura's Legacy, who runs 3rd in this race and just missed Sweens.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty similar pattern to the very good mare of last season, running 2nd in this race, and then came out and took everything in front of her. That said, the winner, our Sniper, was exceptional in this race, and Laura's Legacy did kick very, very strongly. So I think this was a very progressive, very, very different type of filly to the one we saw last season out of the Robbie Patterson barn. But I think improves out of that. 1,600 metres shouldn't be of any real concern. If they think she's an Oaks filly, with the right run in the race, she's a major, major player.
Yeah, obviously that spook her as a sort of like a Lucy sort of clone. So, look, I thought the run was really good. She got lost there on the bend. You've got to remember her first start, she was hard up on the rail when I had home track. So, I thought that it was probably a run that they were happy with, and she's definitely a top 2 chance in the race this week.
Yeah, absolutely, and there's no knock on that performance. I think she'll really go ahead on that, and she's in that top mix. She's got a long way to go to be Like a Lucy. And Robbie Patterson was saying, Like a Lucy was the best horse he's trained. He hasn't said that or remotely like that on this one, but there is upside, and there could be enough upside to see her winning this race too.
Yeah, there really could be. Well, let's have a look at a filly that's already won a Group 3 over the mile, and that was the Watercree Stakes in Origin of Love, and she comes out of the Group 1 1,000 guineas. And when you look at the fillies that are beating her home here, I mean, this is fantastic form.
Certainly is. Obviously well ridden. Was probably a class above them, but you take her out of the race, Lollapalooza out of the race. She was super. There was always that sort of a little bit of a question mark if she was going to run out a strong mile, but she did. She was good, and look, Vinny on Barrier 3, like you said, A-Rod, she maps to just get a nice run in the race, and she's going to sit on the speed doing no work.
Yeah, absolutely. And go back even one further start. She was winning a Watercree Stakes at Group 3 level, beat home Professional Lad, who ran so well in 2,000 guineas, Shoma, who placed in a 2,000 guineas, Kiwi Magic, who won in the middle day at Riccarton. So it's a really nice form race. The form looks sort of stacked up, and I thought a trial leading in, because she's come up from the South Island base. She hasn't been up at Matamata, so she's stayed down there, then come up for this race. There was enough in that to say really competitive here. I had her on top.
Well, I think you just convinced me that the prices are slightly wrong even more, Aidan, when you go through sort of the tail of the tape with Origin of Love. I agree, great effort behind, well written. Prior to that was very, very good and strong 3-year-old company. It's got the runs on the board like War Princess, so therefore, although Dirty D has a lot of upside, I think both of those horses probably should have been in under the Duty D, and I think that'll probably happen on Saturday.
Yeah, and speaking of War Princess, let's go back to her finishing second last time, and she just wanted to over-race a little bit here and let the winner get in front of her, Bevan, but she was very good to the line. What do you think about her stepping up to the mile for the first time?
Well, Sam got off and said it isn't the best ride I've ever done in my life, and I would agree, and they just tried to sort of stay one off, and that allowed the horse in front of her to sort of get away, and then it's only the last 100 metres she sort of grabs the bridle. I actually thought she was going to be well beaten. Past the line, she's in front. She's got a great gait. She might just sit behind one, but like, you want to be winning these black type races to add to the pedigree page. I think she probably should have won that race. So I see no reason why they won't be positive from that gate, maybe get a sit behind one, and if not, go and sit up outside the leader, and she won't throw it away. She's very, very talented. There's been a fair bit of money around for War Princess, but they have held on to her at this point. So they'll be looking for a bit of black type further on the pedigree page, and that price will only go up.
Go up? I thought it was going to go down. I thought she was well placed at $3.30. I think she's going to end up about a $2.80 favourite, but look, she probably should have won, like you said. She was good. She should have... look, from gate 4, I think they'll ride her a little bit neutral, just off the speed. Big roomy track at Wellington's going to suit her as well.
Yeah, I think swings is meaning your value goes up. You're saying your price comes down, so we'll have a little bit of swings, but that was terrific, wasn't it? Especially what she was doing late. She's just kept on raising the bar. I didn't think she was going to be as good as what she's turning out to be. So she's a key winning factor in the race as well. Because you don't know where her ceiling is, right? I think that's one thing about her. We just don't know how good she could be yet.
Yeah, and we might find that out on Saturdays. The last horse we want to take a look at is Abacus. Did actually pick up a good win 2 starts ago, and this was a very good trial here, beating race rival Kawa Swings.
She's going to make it this mare. Look, they've been very aggressive with her, especially at Waveling. They backed it up at OTEC. She's dappled up, she's strengthened up. It's a really good trial. I think they're still working and developing her nicely. I mean, that was soft as. I know Kawa has been pretty soft down towards the inside. Whether she can beat War Princess and the Duty D, Origin of Love, I'm not sure, but look, she's within a length at her very, very best, so she'll be right there on Saturday. If she takes an extra length improvement out of that trial, then she can be right on it.
Yeah, look, I think the key to the race is the blinkers come off on her. They rode her quiet there at the trial, so if barrier 1, they'll be in the trail or 3 back. She's classy, definitely have respect for her.
And she ran second to Capital and a Wellesley at Trentham as well, so she's going well, and she probably gets one of the runs of the race, so yeah, why not? She's a chance. She maybe just has to improve a little bit against some really good ones at the top, but I agree, she's not far away from them.
Okay, no, not at all. So that's a look at the form. What about selections for the race? Are you with War Princess then? You're
100% with War Princess. I see her sort of being a $2.60, $2.80 favourite, so I'm happy to take the $3.30 now.
Sounds like I'm going to be against you both. I'm going to go with Origin of Love. I've liked what we've seen, Group 3 winner already. Comes out of a Group 1 when she ran with real credit. Trialled up nicely for this, so yeah, I'm with Origin of Love on top. Swings, I think we know where you're going.
Oh, look, I've decided to go nostalgic here and look back at Like a Lucy and go with the Duty D, actually, just to sort of make a complete circle and look towards the Oaks with the Duty D. But I really do think the market's wrong, and I think Lee's close to the mark, that War Princess might even start closer to 220. Origin of Love might be in that 270, and you might actually be getting a price around Duty D of $4 come race start time. But yeah, just hoping the Duty D is all that has been spoken about her behind the scenes. Another good one for Darren.
So really you're just trying to get a better price.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He threw us down the wrong path, for sure.
Yeah, just trying to make those bookies rethink, eh? We know what he's doing. All right. Note that down, eh, Sweets?
Oh, I've got a lot of influence, but that isn't one. Like, people think I influence inquiries these days. As soon as one goes up, it's me that makes the decision, but I like to tell people at home that it's not, actually.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it there. I've got a couple of questions to ask you guys too around some big races coming up. Of course, we're not too far away from the silly season and the Boxing Day races. here is the Cambridge Studs Zabeel Classic, Waitak at 2:30, El Vencedor, La Creek. I mean, Kingswood, got nice to see Australian coming across trying to pick up some Group 1 action as well. If you had to have a bet right now, who would it be?
I think the market's got it right. I can't go past the top 3 in the race. El Vencedor, Michael Dion this time. Look, Waitak was massive last start. He only just went down in La Creek. Really want to see him win that Group 1.
Yeah, I'd love to see you two come out and get this. But Waitak's just, he's stamped himself now as the horse. He's just getting better and better. And you look what he did in the Livermore Classic. And he won that by 5 1/4 lengths and blitzed them. Gave nothing else a look and beat, El Vencedor and those sort of horses. So, yeah, I think he's probably the horse to beat. Swings, what would you be taking in it?
Oh, Sharp and Smart will be at home and is still sucking his thumb, then you're not tipping him out. Look, I think Waitak is the real benchmark, to be honest with you. Everything we've seen, I thought he was great the other day. I'm just going to go with La Creek winning one because she deserves it more than any other horse in the country. I think the market's right on it. I think there won't be any change and not a lot of change in that going forward.
Okay, well, what about the Telegraph, which obviously will be in your neck of the woods, Sweens, as we take a look? Tomodachi, obviously favourite at $3.80. Is she the horse to beat for you?
Yes, she is the horse to beat. There's plenty of people on it at $6, I understand. It's now into $3.80. Platinum Attack is flying. He can win the race, absolutely win the race. His section on the other day was outstanding. And then, look, I spoke to Cody yesterday. I think Navigator right on it. I think Grail Seeker's one of her very best. Might need some rain. Best of Crescetti would push Tomodachi and Platinum Attack for sure. And look, Leith was perfect on Saturday. Some of his selections across the whole program and off the form were great. And he gave us first 5 at a big, big price. I've got to say, big congratulations to you, Leith. I think you found a pretty smart horse as well.
Yeah, a lot of people listen. Pay $26. Look, he's a fantastic horse. I think the Telegraph, obviously it's weight for age. Trempham's going to suit him. Tomodachi, $6. That was quite good. Maybe James McDonald might be coming over to here. Yeah,
that's an interesting mail.
Maybe James might be coming and making a
Tell you what,
visit.
if Grail Seeker turned up in the form she was in last year, she absolutely destroyed them in this last year.
She's trolling up on Friday.
Yeah, the only thing she has been disappointing this season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And then what about the NZB Kiwi? Have we gone too early on Well Written?
Well, I think the best market for Christmas presents, you're getting $6.
There's still so much water to go under the bridge, but I agree. If you've got $25, it is a nice Christmas present.
It's a great Christmas present.
It is a Christmas
25 times 6.
No, there's only one Christmas present you can give.
Definitely take the $25 bet. We'll catch you back for Bank Builders in a moment.
In the streets, defund the police if you want to bring change. We need a new way.
Welcome back into the best hour on television, and it is time for our Bank Builders. Leith, who's building your bank this week?
Look, Confessara, race 1 at Te Rapa. Look, she's currently sort of at $2.60 price. There's going to be probably a couple of deductions, but she should be winning on her first 2 runs. I think she'll be winning easy on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm going to go for one who you pointed out from the trials a week or 2 ago in Geneva. Goes to Matamata, race 5 on Friday. Was a terrific trial, as Leith mentioned, and looks to find a really nice race at a nice price, around about $6.
I'm going a little bit outside the square for me. I'm going to Otiki on Friday in race number 5. There's a couple of nice staying horses in here. One I've got a lot of time for. Procol Boy, he steps up over ground and there's a little bit of rain around. Probably not as much as I expected. And Free Bell is definitely going well enough to win the race. I think both of those top 3 in the same race multi.
Okay, like it. So that's what your guys are thinking can build the bank from there. Let's have a look at what the trainers are liking this week.
Hopefully we can start the weekend well here at Matamata on the home track. Really like a filly called Arctic Jewel. She's run 2 really nice races and hopefully can go a couple better there on Friday.
I'm going to go with Sive in the 65-2400 at Te Rapa.
Look, I think Matamata Friday, I like a horse called La Danza. Or La Danza, whatever way you want to call it. She has drawn a bad alley, but we've got a big long run down the back straight from the mile. Won a big race last start at Rotorua to run second first start, so hoping we can go one better this time.
Bizarre Warrior. He's been a bit unlucky of late, and bit lucky we were right there.
A maiden 3 odd 12 at Te Rapa, Confessara.
got to go with Nereus. Pretty bullish about him. He's a very good horse in good order, and he's going to take a hell of a lot of holding out on Saturday.
Got 3 in Aiden. Probably what he yarns the best of them. He's been racing really consistently. I'm just toying with I put Sienna Brown on with her 4 kilo claim, which would make him very, very competitive.
We'll go Friday, Matter, horse Barnstorm. No luck last start, 3 wide, no cover. Up to the 2000, good gate, looks hard to beat.
Saturday we'll go with Keegan. Should be at peak fitness now and he's been working good.
We'd have to go Matter. Last race, Scotaveros. He does want a decent deck though, but I think he'd be a good chance, fresh.
There's a few trainers there that have delivered for us previously, and obviously we saw that bit of confidence from Sean, really confident, making Nereus obviously one of his best on the program there in the Manawatu Cup.
Yeah, got to be a good chance, and the confidence is what we do see it from those trainers when they're really confident. Horses do tend to run well from this section.
Yeah, and we've got, I think, a few winners there, so make sure you note that down. From there, we are concentrating in on the leg up via the form challenge. I've got to hang my head in shame because Stephen Hunt certainly did wipe the floor with my bets, but I still got one, and she's a dealer. Thank you, Leith. I followed you in there. So 6-5, and they are beating us by around $500. So, Leith, it's over to you. You've got to try and pick up the winner.
Yeah, got to get this team back on track, I suppose, but yeah, I'm against Thad this week. Pretty confident, really. I should be okay. Just need some of these tips to come in.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to go race 1, Confessara. Look, I think she's a top 3 place all day, $1.30. Rocktav, next race, race 3, at $1.90. The Trendsetter, I think she was a little bit unlucky last start. She gets a nice gate this week, $2.20. Bethany D, she was massive last start. Then I'm going to take a win bet off those same horses to really sort of get us about $6,000.
Wow, nice. So if you get them both up, so if you get the win bet up, you got the place bet up. So there's it's almost 7,000.
I think Bethany D's a really good each way play in the race. David Green trains. Sectionals was massive last start. Wonderful that in the hand too.
Well, when you hear about Atmospheric, that horse ran 4th in the Group 3 Championship Stakes. Rocktav ran 3rd in that race and went over to Australia to run the South Australia Derby. So
what we're saying is we're confident that Leith can bring us home the win at a big return too. Come on, Leith, I don't want to cook dinner. Now let's hope that gets us home as we concentrate in on our best bets, brought to you by My Racehorse. So yes, it's showtime, Leith. Who's your best?
Rocktav, actually. But look, I thought he's well placed. Rory's on this week, barrier 1. He's had 2 runs to get him sort of fit for this. Like you said, this was a huge run. He went to Australia off this, so he's a horse with a little bit of an upside, and look, I thought he was good value at the sort of $4.40.
Yeah, it gets up to the middle distance. It's the first time this preparation too. I've gone to the feature, the Group 2 Manawatu Challenge Stakes, and just gone with Maratili Morley. I thought, on her best form, she just looks better than them, so I am stopping them at the moment. But Maratili Morley for me in the Challenge Stakes.
I thought about going with Commotion in the last, but it's turned out to be a tough race, so yeah.
There it is.
Like I might be giving myself an uppercut again. Here's my LJ, here's my Just Charlie, here is Atmospheric. I think he can get the job done on Saturday.
Come on, Atmospheric.
Yes.
And I'm actually in agreement with Leith here. Confessara, I think, is a very good bet in the first. Comes out of that Avantagia race where the 3 behind her have all gone on to win, including That's Gold and the Bone Crusher. So the form's very strong. The other time when she was second, she was beaten by Rising Star, who's come out again and won at Tauranga. So the form very, very strong around Confessara, and I think she'll be taking out the first, and hopefully I can bounce back because I've been woeful in the last 2 weeks. So here is a summary. The Whale with Miss BB will kick us off on Friday. Confessara for myself, Maraturi Molly for Aiden, Rocktav for Leith, and Atmospheric for Bevan. Let's hope he can get out of those barriers for you, Sweens, and get the job done. And that completes the form for another week. Don't forget too, next week will be in early on Wednesday. So make sure you're tuning in Wednesday, 10 a.m. for our Christmas Eve special, where we try to find you all of the Boxing Day treats, guys. So looking forward to that, and that completes the show. Thanks to Leith, Aiden and Sweens. Fingers crossed, Atmospheric. We'll catch you back next week on Wednesday.